It lasted a New York minute. I speak of Trump's humility, which came and went like bad Chipotle. After graciously accepting second place, he's now demanding a do-over. A do-over. Claiming an email by Ted Cruz should nix the results because it falsely suggested that Ben Carson was dropping out. Now remember, Donald was the chap who pushed Canadian birtherism, a dirty trick meant to keep folks from supporting Ted. So now he's calling Cruz a sleaze. Please, if Ted were on The Apprentice, Donald would crown him winner for that move, so save the wine. It's a shame because Trump just admitted that skipping the Fox debate had hurt him, which means you can teach an old dog new tricks. And that trick here was grace. But now he's back to his old self. He blames Iowans for not appreciating him and bashes the media he so easily dominates. Who's that remind you of? And isn't skipping a debate a lot like skipping a national security meeting? Are we sure Trump isn't Obama in orange face? Anyway, this smacks of that rich kid on the block who, when he loses the coin toss, takes the ball and goes home. In this case, the ball is the media, that drooling horde wondering what's in it for them. My advice, let's do it over. We'll fly back to Iowa. I love the place, and I left a charger in the bathroom. Let's do the
yours?
Yeah, that was yours. Sorry, Kimberly. I left a lot of things in Kimberly's room. All right. Some things I will never get back. Anyway, but let's do the debate over, too, with Trump this time. Get everybody out there to trudge through the snow to the churches and the classrooms. Make them all vote again, because that's what Trump wants, and what he wants, he gets. Talk about presidential. He'll get fewer votes than Geraldo. I didn't want you to see that coming. Okay.
I didn't.
Ted Cruz has responded to Trump earlier today in Hoxett, New Hampshire.
Sure.
I
don't know.
I hope I said that. Sorry, people in Hoxett. Anyway, here's Ted responding. Interesting.
It is no surprise that Donald is throwing yet another temper tantrum, or if you like, yet another Trumper tantrum. It seems his reaction to everything is to throw a fit, to engage in insults. He doesn't actually want to talk about issues. Donald does not want to defend his lifelong support for socialized medicine, for Bernie Sanders-style socialized medicine. Donald wants to expand Obamacare so that the federal government is in charge of your health care and my health care, is in charge of your doctor and my doctor. He doesn't want to discuss his support for eminent domain, for taking private property and giving it to giant corporations and casinos. I wake up every day and laugh at the latest thing Donald has tweeted, because he's losing it. Look, we need a commander-in-chief, not a Twitterer-in-chief. We need someone with judgment and the temperament to keep this country safe. I don't know anyone who would be comfortable with someone who behaves this way having his finger on the button. I mean, we're liable to wake up one morning and Donald, if he were president, would have nuked Denmark.
Oh, the Danes.
Dana. Let's talk about the Danes.
Socialist. Probably what he's saying now.
Yeah, exactly. What do you make of what do you make of this whole controversy and Cruz's response?
Well, you know, yesterday we had to pick our favorite times from the night, and I said that I thought that Cruz and Hillary did not have great speeches, but that Trump and Rubio had very good ones, and that it would allow them to pivot well as they went to New Hampshire. And that was true. And I was like, okay, if he goes there, and especially I thought, if Trump comes in second in Iowa and then does this gracious pivot and goes to New Hampshire and works his tail off and works for every single vote, then he will have earned it in like a great way, and people could rally behind him. And instead today it was like a total meltdown. Carson, I understand. Do you want to talk about that, like the Carson issue?
I have a thought of him, but
okay,
I could
I'll
go
wait.
later.
No, I'll wait. I'll let other people comment.
Oh, how nice of you.
Yes, and then I will make my fabulous point after that.
Okay, if you remember. Eric, we had a great time at the Embassy Suites.
Yes, we did.
spent a lot of money in that bar. Why not?
Many dollars.
Why not go back?
We spent bowling
and
Sean
we
Hannity's
spent bowling
money.
and Hannity's money.
And a bill at one point. I'm like, I'm going to pick up your tab.
Wait, and we looked great in New Hampshire, in Iowa.
So Trump is blaming Cruz for his loss in Iowa. It didn't have anything to do with Cruz. It had to do with the turnout of the vote. Remember we were talking about if it's a high turnout, the evangelical vote total would probably go down as a percentage. It didn't. It went up. So we had a 50% increase in turnout, and the evangelical vote accounted for 64% of the votes. I mean, that was massive. That's why Ted Cruz, who handled the evangelical vote very well, won. The Des Moines Register flubbed the vote, flubbed the last poll also. So in the aftermath of that, now you have the two big dogs fighting it out. Ted Cruz is he's going for blood now. He thinks he won Iowa. He's going to try and take Trump down in New Hampshire. I don't think he is, because after the Iowa caucuses, Trump is still up by 24 percentage points. Got Scott Brown endorsement, which is huge. So, and Trump, by the way, has been down before. The guy was bankrupt and negotiated with the banks and came back strong, paid all the money back. So Ted Cruz, I'm not sure this is going to be good for Ted in the end. I mean, because if Trump sparks it up, that's not been historically a good place.
But it did help him with the birtherism, Geraldo.
Well, I may be the only person in the room who still believes that there is a legal issue as to whether or not Ted Cruz is naturally born. But let me put that aside. I'm in the minority, so let me stay in the minority. How about this premise, Eric? That you had this great turnout because people received in the mail voter violation. It was almost as if you didn't vote, if you read that Ted Cruz flyer, and you didn't vote, you were fearful that you were breaking the law. I believe a case can be made that Ted Cruz's campaign is guilty of a misdemeanor, the misdemeanor being falsely representing an official document. It is a misdemeanor under Iowa law. I believe the Iowa Secretary of State, Paul Pat, a Republican, by the way, agrees with me. Misleading voters by pawning something off to make it appear as if it is a public document when in fact it is a private mailer, an advertisement for you to come out and vote.
It's definitely a dirty trick.
But no, lying about Ben Carson is a dirty trick that is not a crime. That's a dirty trick. This is a crime. This is, I believe, a case can be made that the Cruz campaign is guilty of the misdemeanor of falsely representing an official document.
Can Kimberly, let's run some tape of Ben Carson today.
And I think he has a good point, by the way, that could be checked out. And it doesn't matter, like, who that could have benefited, unclear, but it doesn't, you know, excuse it.
Is there nowhere on that document that says this is not an official document? Nowhere on it?
On the envelope, it does say, in relatively small print, given the context of the document, mailed by the Cruz campaign.
Yeah, this is not a document.
Here's
no, I'm telling you, don't laugh. This is the Secretary of State. This is
on the envelope.
This is the real deal.
Let's roll a little bit of Ben Carson. Always being Ben Carson, the super nice guy.